Hi, my name is Kelse Ramirez, and I'm here to talk about soft power for my U.S. foreign policy class. So, for this simulation exercise, we're talking about soft power, which is essentially a country's ability to influence others through example and the normal actions of a society. So, essentially, this basically looks like countries projecting their values, ideals, and culture across borders to foster goodwill and strengthen partnerships. This can often build admiration and respect that makes working with other countries easier. And in this hypothetical scenario, the United States basically needs to decide whether and how it can embrace its standing in the world to help pursue its interests. So, this hypothetical pop up case states that a recently published report has detailed several international polls revealing increased anti American sentiment worldwide. This indicates a decline in the United States' soft power. At the same time, the report documents increasing global favor for Namibia, which is the powerful US rival. Worryingly, these trends have been particularly pronounced in several countries that have long been close trade partners. Analysts predict that with less persuasive power, the United States will have a harder time cooperating with other countries, or it could be forced to use coercive policy tools like sanctions more often. The president has convened the National Security Council to determine what, if anything, the United States government should do to bolster U.S. soft power. So now there are three policy options that me, acting as the president in the simulation exercise, can pick from. So the first option is to devote significant new funding to sweeping cultural, educational, and scientific programs along with a media campaign. Second option is to maintain current investment in soft power initiatives such as media outlets and educational exchange programs, but devote zero new funds. Third, we can prioritize investment in hard power, which looks like funding military and economic endeavors, such as overseas bases or foreign assistance programs, which are designed to counter Namibia's growing influence. So for each foreign policy option, I will list three pros that I see, and then at the end of these listings, I will choose which policy option I would prefer. So starting with policy option number one, this option is preferable because it is a non-coercive method, which means it is offering services that are profitable globally, that nations outside the US would appreciate and benefit from, such as educational and scientific programs. Devoting a significant amount of funding to media campaigns is also a sure way to bolster the US's reputation strongly. And this is an effective way of reaching people anywhere, as media can go through TV, radio, social media, broadcasting, any kind of media to get the outcome that we want. So those are the pros for policy option number two. Sorry, for policy option number one. For policy option number two, the pros are that the negative side of the first option is a positive for this option. So, since the first one would demand a large investment at the expense of other objectives, the second one would be eliminating those other objectives that would take the funding. And now this funding can be saved by maintaining the current investment in soft power initiatives. Secondly, we do not lose our soft power influence or lose funding by strengthening. It is just simply maintained, which is always a positive when we don't lose more money. So for policy option number three, this I would say is the quickest way to see results, although it does use hard power. So basically, the US can use this investment in hard power as leverage. It can make other countries feel safe, as it suggests that other nations should like the US. For example, after World War II, when the US became the dominant military power in Japan, the country prospered. So, by funding military and economic endeavors like overseas bases, it basically does come off the most threatening, but it does place the US at an advantage for dealing in foreign policy challenges as they arise around the world and suggest that other nations can thank the US and feel safer, which increases the US's reputation. Um, if I was the president, I think that I would prefer policy option number three, preferably, because that I think that the president's priority should be to protect the US and to make sure that America is safe and prioritized. So, option number three um, basically prioritizes the US over nations instead of giving other nations the educational, cultural, and scientific programs that is saved for the US specifically, has a direct effect to American people. And while the image may erode, which is a negative for option three, as the president, my border is safe, my people are secure, and we're growing as a nation and we're economically safe. So while there is a risk, through that risk, we achieve American sovereignty. And that is the ultimate goal as president, is to achieve American safety, sovereignty, and make the American people and America as a whole the priority. Thank you.